Hi there and welcome to this week's episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out Show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette and I'm joined this week by former Canadiens defenseman, assistant coach and 1986 Stanley Cup champion Rick Green, along with my longtime Gazette colleague and friend Jack Todd, who's sitting in for Chris Nyland, who's on a road trip this week with the Habs old-timers, which I'm sure is a lot of fun. Rick, the Canadiens are off to an impressive 5-2 start to the season as they head out on a 4-game Western road trip. What's impressed you most about these guys so far?
Well, one of the areas that I think is really improved on is the fewer odd man rushes. I mean, they used to be a run and gun type of game where you'd be 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, you get guys caught out of position, and now they seem to have shored that up through discipline with their third man high. Seems to allow the defenseman to really play it tight in the neutral zone and taking away a lot of the opposition's speed. But overall, the guys are really committed. They're blocking shots. They're doing whatever it takes, like we saw in the last stretch of the regular season last year, to make the difference. You had Suzuki blocking shots. You got everybody buying into what they need to do to give themselves, a chance to win every night. And just as a group, I think they're all on board for what they need to do. They're covering for each other. I mean, the defense now, part of the offense, obviously, but the forwards are covering up for them, and they are really, really doing a good job. And when they see their D down deep, they are, jumping into that position to allow them to not give the odd man rushes. So that a lot of the little things are big things in success so far, and I just like the chemistry that they have and the commitment that they're, to what they need to do to win in each and every night.
Yeah, the defense pinched like crazy, Rick. And I mean, that Marty talked during training camp about how he wanted the defense to be really aggressive in the neutral zone so that the other team couldn't even get into the offensive zone. As you said, that doesn't work unless your forwards are coming back. And their forwards are coming back, all of them. I know, Jack, just yourself, what are your thoughts through the first 7 games here?
To me, this is the most cohesive Canadiens team I can remember. I came on the beat as a columnist in '94, 1 year after they won the Stanley Cup. Note it's my fault that Mike Farber left and I took over, and they haven't won since. But I feel that cohesion both on the ice and off the ice. From the outside, it looks to me like they're just the most together group I've ever seen. Like they really like each other. There's no Galchenyuk in there. There's no Maxime Lapierre, these kind of nasty personalities that put off other people and cause tensions in the room. And it translates onto the ice. And for Marty, they seem willing to do anything, block shots with their teeth, whatever. And I think that's part of the reason, if you look, they played 7 games. They haven't been out of it in 1 game. Except for Matheson's broken stick and a bad period from Montembeault, they could be 7-0 right now. And I think that all comes from, they're not blowing people out, they're not dominating people, but they're always in the game. And if you do that for 82 games, you're in the playoffs easily.
It is a team, Rick? I mean, Marty, when he came in, talked about how, he was going to go page by page, chapter by chapter, teaching these guys what they need to know, and it's a full buy-in. It really is. I mean, there's not much not to like so far, but are there any concerns that you do see, Rick, through the first 7 games?
Well, we've seen it before. I hate to see injuries coming into the team so early on. Gooley again goes down. It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's part of the game, but I just hope that some of these injuries that are starting to take hold are not going to hurt him in the long run. And I have a little bit of concern with Montembeault. He's struggling. We're hoping that he can find his game. And the good news is Dobish is probably going to push him to get better. And when you look around the league, if you don't have above average goaltending, there's not much chance to win. So right now, I think that like injuries, a little bit of Montembeault's struggles, are concerning. But it's still early in the season, and I think that the good thing about the group is they have enough talent that I think they can weather the storm pretty well on a long season.
Well, the injuries, Caden Gooley's just jinxed, right? Out 4 to 6 weeks now, lower body injury. Kirby Dach's making the trip, Western road trip, and Marty St. Louis said he expects him to play at some point. Patrik Laine is not making the trip. Moving forward, what does Marty do with Patrik Laine once he's healthy enough to come back?
I was thinking about that almost from game one of the season. He's the one guy, I don't think he's a bad guy at all, but he's the one guy that doesn't obviously fit with this team. You could see him, I thought, through preseason and when he was playing, he was trying hard to get back and do a lot of things that maybe don't come naturally to him. But he still seems like an odd fit, the one odd fit on a team that meshes beautifully otherwise. And what do you do? He's a power play weapon like almost no other in the league. But do you sit him on the bench for 14 minutes at a stretch and then expect him to go out and one-time it? It's a hard job for Marty. And at some point you have to think Laine could attract something on the trade market. But for now, they're probably almost relieved that he's out of the lineup for a while.
Yeah, I was thinking that. And, Rick, and they put Joe Veleno in there. And he, we're talking about that game, that being aggressive on the forecheck and in the neutral zone. And Veleno just seems to fit better into that. And what do you do with Laine going forward? It really is a tough call.
Yeah, very much so. The game is about speed. And, in all fairness, Laine was talking about feeling great. He put the injuries behind him, but I'm not sure that that's the case. And something has surfaced, obviously, to take him out of the lineup. But I don't think he fits that style of play, which is speed and involved. And Marty, I don't think would like to see that continuing. I don't know. It's a tough situation. You got a big player that is supposed to bring some things to your team and he's not doing it. How long do you let it go? And what you do with him when he does get healthy and start moving some pieces around. So I'm sure there's lots of conversations being had. But the bottom line is when Laine gets in the lineup, he has to bring something more than what he has done to date.
Yeah, the effort level's been there, right? From the summer through training camp, it just looks like you can't keep up. And you look at, he sort of dragged Jake Evans and Josh Anderson down with him a bit. We saw them after Gallagher went on that line. That line is
huge,
very effective.
Gallagher there.
That's one of those lines that they really count on. One of the things that surprised me, Jack, through the first 7 games is Marty St. Louis not using Ivan Demidov on the number 1 power play unit. It was a similar thing with Lane Hudson last year. It was early December before Marty put him on. I asked Marty about it the other day after practice, and he said, well, he wants it to sort of happen organically. That's one of Marty's favorite lines. But to me, you look at the power plays, and Marty talked before the season about having 2 units and 1 minute each, but that's not how it happens. Demidov's getting on the ice a lot of times, 25 seconds left in the power play. Do you think he should be in that number 1 power play, Jack?
Yeah, I think he's going to be there inevitably, just like Hudson. But the timing is the only thing that's in question. I feel for Slafkovsky because he's working, but he can't have the impact on a game that Demidov can have. I think everybody thinks this guy's the best player in the organization already. So far, you've seen it only in flashes, I think. But he's working. I see him learning, getting back, doing better defensively. And you always get these brilliant plays every time. Doesn't matter how many minutes he plays, you're going to see an incredible pass, an unbelievable move, whatever. He's got to be there at some point. And really, the power play is one of the few things that hasn't been turning over real well through the early part of the season. So you want your best option up there.
Yeah, it's actually been worse than it was last season. To me, Rick, Slafkovsky just looks out of place on that right wall there. That's more of a playmaker spot. I think for him, he's either in the bumper spot or in front of the net. It seems sort of strange. Would you put Demidov in that number 1 line, number 1 power play also?
I would like to think he could bring a little bit more. His vision, his ability to pass, and his his smarts with the puck. He just a great player, exciting player that really understands how to play at such an early stage. And he's it's still early. I know Marty's experimenting and giving the guys a chance, but I think that when push comes to shove, that in order to get his power play going and hot, he's going to make a few adjustments. And Demidov was the kind of guy that probably can make the big difference out there.
He's a unique talent, Rick. Does he remind you of anybody you used to play with or against when you watch him play?
There are a lot of guys that, of course, nobody just sticks out in my mind as one guy, because there was a lot of them. Mm-hmm. But
I guess you don't want to compare him to Kovalev.
Well, he's a talent. I don't know about the mindset. I think that we got quite a bit of difference between those two with where their minds and where their heart is.
It's a long season ahead, but could you see at some point maybe Demidov not only being on the number one power play unit, but maybe replacing Slafkovsky on that top line with Suzuki and Caufield?
I can see it happening. Maybe not this season, but that's a line that's really going to scare people. Like right now, you have a very good, solid line that's generating points. Always the Habs' best line almost. But you put Demidov up there, and people are going to be quaking in their boots,
Yeah, but one of the things with Slafkovsky, they like him on that line is he's a big body to go get pucks, but Demidov plays tough in the corners. That's one of the things that's really impressed me is the fight he has, Jack, just puck battling and willingness to get his nose dirty.
Yeah. He's not huge, but he doesn't get pushed around.
No, he's impressed me with his strength on the puck. I mean, he doesn't get knocked off the puck very easily, and they push him, and he just rolls off them. And in all fairness to Slav, he's the kind of guy that I think complements the other two, just because his ability to get to the front of the net, cause a little bit of havoc, if you will, with his size, that allows those other two guys to dipsy-do and allow them to get shots to the net with Slav in front. So again, it's early. They're going to go with this for a bit, and then if they see an opportunity that maybe they want to change things up, obviously they have the luxury to do that with a lot of good skills.
As Marty has said, this is the most depth he's had since he's been here as coach, the most talent he's had since he's been here as coach, and it's a lot of tough decisions, but as he says, that's a good problem to have. He's got so many different options to go with here, Jack. One of the decisions they made, Owen Beck gets called up for 2 games from Laval, gets sent back down, and now they call up Joshua Roy. Did that surprise you, Jack?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what Beck did wrong, because I didn't see anything obvious, but he wasn't playing that many minutes. Roy is a strange case, because he was the flavor of the month there about 2 years ago, and then he came in maybe not in the best shape, had a poor camp, and he's had a hard time. Maybe they think his ceiling is higher, especially as a scorer, but it seemed a bit of an odd one. But another thing I see the Canadiens trying to do, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are trying to rotate people around, get everybody in, things like that. Give everybody a look. Man, the guy I want to see back is not either one of them. It's more of Joe Veleno. He looked really good to me. He looked like he's capable of pushing anybody for a job on the second line. Lots of things. He was terrific on both ends of the ice. I remember Pat Hickey wanting him drafted instead of Kotkaniemi, if I'm right. And it might not have been a bad call.
Well, he was, Veleno, the talent, the only Quebecer ever to have exceptional player status to play in junior. Coming into the NHL, he hasn't been able to find, as an offensive guy, find another role. Rick, I imagine you saw that a lot as both a player and a coach. It's got to be tough for a guy who's been an offensive player his whole life to come into the NHL, and now you're asked sort of to do something different, and Veleno seems to be at a career now where he's ready to do that.
Yeah, I remember him playing Lake St. Louis. He was a talented kid, and brought a lot each and every game. And obviously, he's worked his way to be given an opportunity to stay in the lineup. But we talked about Owen Beck. In all fairness to the kid, I mean, he's given a couple games and a few minutes of ice time as a young kid. It's tough to show anything immediately when you get those type of minutes. And to bring up Joshua Roy, who's leading Laval with points, he's a kid that they're hoping will understand what he needs to do each and every night to be effective and be an NHL player. And time will tell. We'll see how much time and minutes they give him to see if he can make a difference in the game. But he definitely has a skill in Joshua, and now it's up to him to show what he can do when given the opportunity. Because
I think we had a good point there, Jack. I think they're keeping the competition going, right? Calling up different guys. I mean, Florian Jacki must be down there chomping at the bit, like, when am I going to get the call? And it's not a bad situation to be in. And moving forward now, another player that you wonder about is Kirby Dach. He's injured yet again. He practiced with the team on Tuesday before they went on the road trip. As I mentioned earlier, he's on the road trip. Marty expects him to play at some point. Last season of his contract. Do you think they're getting close, Jack, to just giving up on Kirby and saying...
couple more stints on the disabled list won't help. I really thought he was looking better game to game. He was more involved. He was getting more in there. He was showing the speed. And then he's out again. And to get any kind of long commitment from the Canadiens or any team, he's going to have to show more. And guys like Veleno are going to be pushing. So he can't go on like this too much longer.
Veleno, in some ways, Rick, is starting to look like what they were hoping Kirby Dach would look like.
Yeah, I mean, Kirby, unfortunately, seems to be snake bit. It's not like he's getting little minor things that are happening to him on the injury side. They've got major stuff that's gone on, and those type of injuries, I've never really had one, but I'm assuming it takes a lot of time, back-to-back reconstructions, and to find your game, to get back into the groove of things is a big challenge. And unfortunately, he's faced with that adversity. We'll see if he can fight through it, and maybe he can bounce back in a way that he can start to do some things that the organization is hoping him to do. But time is running out. The clock is ticking, and it's a tough situation for him. But it's up to him to make the difference and show that he's belonging in the NHL, and wants to be part of the Montreal Canadiens.
Jack. I mean, Veleno is another case. He was Kent Hughes was his agent. Right?
Yeah.
Like Matheson, he was agent for, and a few guys, and he knows these guys, and he's talking about having good people in the room, and Joe Veleno just talking to him in the room. He just seems like a good kid, a good guy. And you wrote a column this week, Jack, about how nice guys can finish first sometimes, and it's the case of Gorton and Hughes, and just a little bit more. Just how important do you think that is with this team moving forward?
I think with this team, it's very important. I mean, you can have a team of sour veterans who all hate each other's guts, and they win because, they have a lot of experience and a lot of talent. This one is still learning how to do it. And the fact that they're all pretty good guys, they all support each other. The whole organization is really like that these days. I'm going from France Margaret Bélanger down to the equipment guys. You really feel like it's the most cohesive organization, not just hockey team, but the teams I've covered, the old Expos, the Owls, whatever. I've never seen an organization so together, and it transmits to the players. There isn't a guy that I can see in that room that you just want to throttle. You've dealt with a couple of sourpusses that shall remain nameless, who don't want to give you the time of day. I can remember being in mid-conversation with Carey Price when all of a sudden he just shuts down and walks away, And it's like, what did I say? Nothing. But these guys operated in a different way than what we have now. And that, they might say nothing in these interviews, but the other night on Amazon, they showed a little segment of Hudson skating and talking about how he skated with his laces undone for half an hour. And my gosh, the guy's doing spins and everything without his, I need a couple of slats of metal slats there to prop me up, And the kid is doing this. But the fact that he's willing to do this and so open about it, and it transmits to everything, the fan base, the media, everybody. This is how you get everybody behind you, by the way. It's not playing tricks and playing favorites with the media. It's just being open.
Yeah, and there's no real jerks on the team now. And I think, Jack, Chantal Maccabi has a lot to do with what's happening with the way the players deal with the media. She's sort of, we're not looked at as the enemy with some of these young guys, and she's told them not to be afraid to show their personalities a little bit more. I know, Rick, you're in the alumni lounge quite a bit. I imagine you've got a chance to talk with Gorton and Hughes and maybe even Marty St. Louis. Just your thoughts on just them as the way they're running this team.
Well, I think for them, their mindset is try to find good character, load your room up with good character, because everybody will follow suit. And the ones that don't want to be part of the plan, it's pretty obvious to pick those guys out. But the one thing they have is quality people that are committed to success of the organization, want to be part of the Montreal Canadiens, and they are doing a hell of a job and trying to find as many guys as they can that fit that mold. And the ones that don't fit the mold, they don't waste a lot of time in removing them and not allowing them to be part of what their plan is moving forward. So again, full credit to those guys in identifying the type of people and character that they want to have in the dressing room. And obviously skill set and character is huge, and it's nice to see some of these kids fitting that mold.
Well, two good guys with me here this week also, so that was a lot of fun. That's it for this week's Hockey Inside Out show. I hope you all enjoyed it out there. Look for our 3 bonus episodes coming out later in the week, and enjoy the games coming up in Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Seattle.